Hey, hi, good morning, everyone. I hope you're able to hear me loud and clear. Can I get a quick VIC? Just type down VIC if you're able to hear me loud and clear. VIC, 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 VIC. Okay, great. Yeah. So, first of all, a warm welcome, everyone. Very good morning. I think it was a pleasant morning for everyone. The folks who had sessions at 10, how was it going? How's it going, everyone? Okay, great. Awesome, great. So, first of all, thank you everyone for joining us for this success talk that we have planned for you. The folks who don't know me, I'll just start with a quick round of introduction. My name is Himang Sharma. I head the data science and AI vertical here at Insaid. As we are on this mission, I think most of you might already know this, that we are on a mission to groom the data leaders of tomorrow. And for that, we constantly bring, think of innovating versatile events on a month to month basis, and to provide valuable insight into the ongoing changes in the field of data science. And likewise, after the triumph of the last conference, I'm not sure how many of you have attended that conference that we had last month by Miss Rituparna from Microsoft. Can I get a quick yes in the chat window if you have been there in that webinar? Yeah. So that was also primarily focused in the healthcare domain, and what we wanted to make you see how data science is being explored in the field of healthcare primarily. And we have again plans to bring up people from very different domains. So the folks who haven't attended it, you can again go ahead and attend it over the go ahead and see the recording in the Insight Thursdays module that you have. Okay, chalo. So today again we have actually a very special guest with us who is a young working professional, and we are actually very proud to introduce him as a diligent professional as well as one of the Insight's learner. He is none other than Mr. Sourav Ghosh, one of the biggest success stories that we have here at Insight. Sourav, can you just turn on your cameras and say hi to all the people out here before I just hand it over to you?
Yes, absolutely, Hemang. So it seems I cannot start my video. So can you please?
Okay. I'll just see if I can make you the co-host.
Yeah.
Check this out. Yeah, I think now you'll be able to do that. Yeah. Okay.
So hi everyone. Very good morning. I'm glad for this surprise invitation from Insaid. And
getting into that, before getting into that phase, Saurav, I would just want to know from you that you have been attending these events from past few years, or let's say past 1 year continuously, right? So now, how does it actually feel to come here in the panel as a speaker? If you talk about few months back, you were actually a student out there, you attended these events as an attendee, and today you are a panelist itself. So how does it feel?
Yeah, so I'm still student. I mean, my still course is not yet over, but a student can be a lifetime achiever. I mean, a person can be a whole life of his studentship. I was surprised because I just got a call from Hemanka that in last week that you're gonna be panelist and we'll be inviting you as a speaker. And so I was shocked about it because even last week also I attended one of that he said right already with the healthcare, one of the speakers just make a kind of presentation and talked about her journey. So yeah, this is quite surprising, and that's why I couldn't make much other than tell you story about my journey. That's how so yeah, obviously it's good to be here, and little bit as I'm a bit kind of shy and introvert, so it's a very big challenge for me. And though I'll be trying my best to answer all of your questions and doubt that you're gonna have.
Okay. Sounds great, Saurav. So before handing it over to you, I'll just give you a high-level overview of for Saurav. So as you all must be knowing, Saurav is presently working with one of the largest aerospace giants, that is Boeing India Pvt. And this is his back-to-back second career transition, with the previous one being at Philips. So as Saurav rightly mentioned, he has not yet actually crossed the, has not completed the program here at Insaid. He's in the PGP Data Science and AI program. But in during the program itself, he has actually transformed himself into professionals altogether. That too, not once but twice. So a big congratulations to you on this achievement, Saurav. And I would request all the people out here to congratulate Saurav through the chat window quickly.
Thank
Uh,
you so much. And
so,
uh,
Saurav is holding currently 7+ years of work experience. Previously, he has worked with big names, big giants such as Hawaii and TCS, and he has lots and lots of achievement to talk about, and that we are anyways gonna discuss today in the session itself. So, to actually set the agenda for today, he will be sharing his journey, the stories behind his claim to fame. As he has already mentioned, he has brought up some amazing stories to share with us, and his personal experiences in the field of data science, along with his journey here at Insaid. So we warmly welcome you, Saurav. Thanks for being with us here today. I am handing this panel over to you now. Once Saurav is done with his talk, then we are going to open this forum for a round of Q&A. Everyone will be taking as many questions as possible, and we'll try to answer each and every question out there. Yeah. With that said, again, a warm welcome to everyone out here. Saurav, over to you.
yeah, thank you so much, especially the Insaidians, I think, and also Hemanka. So for this big introduction and very humble like presentation. So yeah, so I'm just gonna share my screen. Okay. So yep. So everyone can able to see the screen. Can I get some yes or something? Hello.
Yes, Saurav, we are able
Yeah.
to hear you perfectly. Yeah.
Okay, and can see my screen, right?
Yeah. You can check the chat window. Everyone is writing down yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And there are 100+, so I'm just scared about it.
Nothing.
Okay.
No issues. Carry on. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, just yeah, I think yeah,
Yeah, it's perfectly visible,
it's
Saurav.
perfectly visible. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so mm, okay, so right now I think already Himanka gave the introduction. So right now I'm working as associate data engineer in Boeing India Private Limited, and previously my journey was from TCS to Huawei. So I have started my journey in 2014 back. I have completed my course. So I'm basically not from a core CS background, CS in the sense like computer science. So those who are here right now in a presence like in a student and quite afraid that what they're gonna do without coding, I'd suggest that yeah. So I'm also not from a coding background as well, and there are many people who are doing excellent in their career and they're also not from the very hardcore coding background as well. So I have started my journey through TCS. I have joined there as an assistant system engineer in 2014 back, and I also didn't start my journey in as a data engineer or data scientist or something like that. So basically, as my subject was electronics and communication, I started my journey as a WCDMA developer. So the core journey was with a telecommunication project, and there was something that we needed to create some test frame and all. But with that, in 2014 as well, there are a few of my friends in college, and they got a transition in one of kind of very big analytical companies these days, like Mu Sigma and all. So that time they're hiring as a data science decision scientist. So I got to keep in touch with them and understand what is it actually, because that caught my eyes of like what was that decision scientist, because generally we know that after campusing we'll be getting a post kind of system engineer or something like that, developer, tester. So I just came to know about this because that time in 2014 or 15, there was no such organizations. There are very few, but other than that, it was not so booming, big data and like all other AI and all stuff. So I just got an interest and I just started learning about these databases and everything. So within 1.2 years, I just got a chance in Huawei to excel my career. And since then I worked with Huawei for around 6 years. Since then I got a like chance to work with the different teams inside Huawei. So we'll come to that part like slowly. And then after that I got an opportunity with Philips, a big opportunity I must say, because that time I was also with a part of Insaid, and there was I mean, my achievement was partially shared by Insaid. I'll come to that point why it was like that. And then currently I joined Boeing. So that was my whole journey throughout the 7+ years of my career, and I'm looking forward to be long working with Boeing. And yeah, that's how my transition went. uh, so today's agenda I planned accordingly, like about me. So when I just introduced myself, and then what inspired me to take up the data engineering, and then third one is the scope of data engineering and data science in industry, and what are the data engineering tools right now these days that we are working on, and what is like usefulness of those tools. And then my career journey from TCS to Huawei, that how I got into it and how I cracked it, and then comes with the challenges faced during transition from Huawei to Philips. And then kind of what was the success mantra that I followed to get into Boeing. Actually that came from that success mantra is not mine. That is one of the famous person inside. I'll just come to that point. And the next part is with a few suggestions and tips that I learned throughout my journey. I really like to share with all of you so that you can also grow and excel in for a career. And finally we'll take up all the questions that you have, like right now. Even last week also I had, because I'm still studying, right? So yeah, so that was a today's agenda I planned. And yeah, so this is the first question in my first session in Inset. So what is data? That came to my, I mean, that was a question was asked by one of the very senior faculty in Inset, Mr. Dipesh Wadhani. And the definition I'm going to share with you all, that was also from Mr. Dipesh Wadhani, that I remember because that was so simple thing that I got it. So according to him, anything that can be recorded is data. I think that is the only thing that if we can remember, we can get something. Partially, it's like a kind of inspiration to learn more about data and what are the things that we can record. And I think I'm not going towards the category of the data, but yeah, just a data definition, because today we're going to talk much more about the data and like talking about how we are doing it. So that's why I feel that that definition should come to you as a point of a time. So yeah, and then I think what inspired me to be data engineer. So for that I wanted to share one of the instances that I faced on. uh, so as I said, like my journey started with TCS, and then I got a something to learn about and all, and then I got an opportunity with Huawei. So the main inspiration come that time. There was no such designation called data engineer. There was a full stack big data engineer. People are out there in industry, still it is there, and data scientist over there. Data engineering was not so popular in that time. There was some database administrator was there. So I got opportunity to start off my work as a database administrator and the SQL management side. And slowly I came to that point. Now what inspired me to be a data engineer? It's like, actually when I joined Huawei, I was one of the juniors among two or three people, but other than that in my team mostly people were very senior, and they are like kind of having PhD holders from ISC and IITs. They're architects, and their uh, secondary mother tongue, I would say, mathematics. So it scares me a lot. But one single day, one of the senior member of my colleague, they came to me and talk about like what was scaring me to work and all. And a very simple thing he said to me that so I'm a fan of mystery and mystery novels. Okay, so thriller and mystery novels. So he told me that okay, like what do you like in most to read? So I'm kind of a bookworm, so I read many novels and science fiction things and everything, and mostly like so. The famous part is Sherlock Holmes, right? And that time the series was very famous. So I shared with him like as a friendly talk, like okay, I like this. Then he said, how do you believe that a detective can investigate his cases and all? Obviously I said I with the clues and all. Then he asked me, what do you think, what is a clue actually? So I and end of the final point was the conclusion is like everything data that we are trying to find out the truth for every instances of our life. So if you want to know everything about the part that we're working on, and it's still data, right? So our day-to-day life, everything, whatever we are doing, for example, today's interview is going on today, this success talk comes, I hope that it gives you some kind of inputs, and from there you can excel. So with my suggestion and my experience, whatever I faced right now in industry, so yeah, so everything is a data that has to be recorded and that has to be used for you to enhance. So that inspired me to be kind of zeal to be into the data and data science and data engineering. And the person whom I was talking about, he helped me a lot throughout my journey. And since then I have like achieved as a kind of star developer and a star tester as well, because I started my journey as a testing, then slowly into the development side I moved. And yeah, so that gave me a kind of inspiration, and since then I am still in touch with the person, and he was also doing excellent with his career. So that was one of the inspiration instances that I have. So in life I have many instances that gave me a kind of inspiring, even including the Insaid faculties as well, the mentors and the guides who are obviously kindly helping in my work, my colleagues. But other than that, that the first instance that I remember and I wanted to share with you all. So the scope of the data engineering, there's a second question comes like after what was the data engineering inspiration, then the scope, it should come to our mind. So I just wanted to share that a day-to-day life of a data engineer or day-to-day life of us, that what we are doing. So basically a day-to-day life of a data engineering is like implementing a complex big data projects with a focus of collecting, transforming data and parsing, managing, analyzing, visualizing the data and turn into something insightful. Okay, so how does it work? So when you join as a data engineer in an industry, so there will be a plenty of databases. So as we say, like one of the giants company or fang companies or mang companies, so they're the giants. So they are, how big the giant is, that big the database is. Okay, so those are also the giants, hidden giants, I would say. So those databases we have to access, and we have to make according to the requirement with the stakeholders inside the company, or according to the requirements of the client, we have to access those database and bring something insightful, which gives our client or the business holders a kind of enhancing way and easing the human effort. Okay, so to make it more intelligent, it can be anything. For example, if it is a telecommunication industry, it can be the telecommunication architecture as well. So for me, I have been into till now in three different domain of industries. One is a telecom, another is health tech, and right now I'm working as a aeronautics. uh, so in that I have seen that the database is big, but still it is simplified. But other than that, when we are just transferring or transacting data from the database, that transformation needs some complex review and analysis. So basically in every industry we follow two things. One is, when the data is complex, don't go into the code. So these days coding can be done by anyone. We had that kind of aversion for coding because we started our journey from like C++, and so that time if you needed to write the hello world, you needed to write 4 or 5 lines of codes. But these days the coding of like the computer coding went so high level stage that you can just print hello world and it will print. So I believe that aversion we can come up and like we can remove it and keep it away from ourselves, and we just go further. So we just don't need how to code, we just need their jargons. For example, similar way, like I am talking in English, maybe my mother tongue is Bengali. If I'm talking in Bengali the same thing, you might not know the jargon, but you might not know that what I am intended to talk is just a movie without subtitles. So the same way that we are coding. So coding is not a very big challenge, and this is there are plenty of internet things that you are having and where you can just implement and get the idea. The very important thing was actually in, while you join as a data engineer, two things. One is the overview of the model which what you are doing and what was the task, the target part that you are going to do. That is very important, the high level design to understand. And the second thing is the logic, what logic you want to implement. So these two will be enough for whole your career. You can be the front end engineer and back end engineer, even in data engineering. You can be a data scientist as well, but I believe these two help me a lot. I believe these two will help you a lot. So this is the whole I mean day-to-day life of a data engineer. And finally, when we do that in the transformation side and run the ETL, so I believe ETL you all must know, extraction transform load, that is a basic pipeline of a data engineering side. And we run that job in Spark or different engines, and then end of the time we sometimes connect with the data visualization tool and to see what is the output of it, because data visualization tools give you kind of insight of the business, that what you played with the data and what was the output that it is going to give. So that was a data engineering side. So you might have a like question to think about, like then what was the data scientist are doing and what is the analyst are doing. So I've also kind of placed something for you as a data scientist as well, an analyst. I'll just explain. So a day-to-day life of a data scientist is like solving tasks to argument with a different complex scenario and building up the model. That model building platform can be anything. So these days people are using, and these days there is a trend coming very I mean often I'm seeing so AI generated images. Okay, so it's a like image processing and computer vision working in the field, and people are like just asking for the theme. So apocalyptic India, or cyberpunk theme of India, or Banaras Ghat, and all this. So AI is just pulling up an image of Banaras Ghat and building up it like a cyberpunk theme, or maybe apocalyptic theme. So data scientists, to talk about this, I just spoke about few of the AI terms, that how it is growing. And if some companies are growing these days as a startup, as they're like self sponsored, so they also need a data scientist. So building up a kind of complex model and decision making thing every day-to-day life of their data science part. And then a few of the scenario that I have got with the using of the NLP, they are doing with a human like I mean using the NLP natural language programming with a human like interactions. So one of the project that I was a part of, that was not especially that was not a part of data engineering or my work, but I came to know about that. So it is like kind of so there is a Rabindranath Tagore, who is one of the famous poets and writer. So it's globally known. So he wrote lots many songs which is having some theme like love, romance, or nature, all this. So there is a model that we are building up with LSTM. That was one of the thing in data science. So AI will be reading it, the lines of the song, the lyrics of the song, and it can predict you to say that what is the theme of that song. So yeah, so this according to the, I mean, these days there are plenty and plenty things are going. If you visit Kaggle, you'll understand how data science is working, and hands in hand with the data engineering, because data engineering side is like all the data extraction, as I said, and giving the insights. And data science will, which will not be having that part. So data science and data engineering should go hand to hand all together to make a kind of AI and smart system generation. So that was the part of the data scientist. Now the main question comes to the mind of all the young and the people who are hungry and looking out for their excellent career growth with exponential way. So data engineer versus data scientist, which will get my Ferrari quicker and how to start. So I have got few of the information. Again, you see that is a part of the data. So I've got one information here as like both data engineers and data scientists are in demand. Even there are also demand in data analyst. So do not like think, okay, I didn't mention data analyst doesn't mean that there is no demand. Data analysts are there, they're the backbone. Actually, the data analysts are the backbones of this, because they gonna say about the database which we gonna use, and they're gonna give us the logic and the model that what we're gonna do for the development side. So that is also in very high demand. And there is a kind of survey that Indeed made in 2021. So there are 200k data scientists and data engineers job yet to come in industry for the next 5 years. So hope you understand how demanding it is right now, because there is something that doesn't need the domain. It is individual of like irrespective of anything. You can be in any domain, you can be data engineer and data scientist, because your part is job with the data, not with the domain side. So you can be in a healthcare tech, you can be in aeronautics, you can be in retail, you can be in telecommunication. There is always there is a demand. So, and people these days have started to grow in that field. So the next thing is salary perspective. That is, I think, our one of the focus when we get a job, that in Hindi like we say kitna paisa aa raha hai, that also matters, right? So in salary perspective, it's almost equal. A recent poll conducted by LinkedIn says that the average salary of either a data scientist or data engineer is around 18L per annum in India. So it's around in USA, it is something slightly different, which is around 100k USD per year. So yeah, with the demand and with everything. So and I would also want to add with all these data, I also want to add, I have seen people to get a 2x to 3x salaries. I have experienced it, even that the salary hike with that particular field transition. So that is no joke and that is no myth. But yep, end of the day. So I would say and suggest to like not to be think about your first of all your salary and all, just to think that in which organization you be in and you just grow, because growing is far more important and salary can come following it. So data engineering tools I want to talk about as per the agenda that we are using these days. So there are plenty data engineering tools that these days industry is using, but I want to talk about few that we are working, including front end and the back end side. And yeah, here are they. So in SQL, if you're talking about, there are like PostgRE people are using, people are also using MySQL side, just to access the database and see what is there inside it, because SQL is one of the very important tool that in inside for the data engineering to access the database. Next, MongoDB, what we are using, because there are two data and we know that there are like unstructured, there are structured, there are relational, non-relational. So MongoDB is used just for the database which is not relational. So it's a part of, also we can utilize it with Azure. We are also using to run our like millions data set inside the Apache Spark. Right now, I have worked with 2.0 right now. I'm also, it's very challenging, and that you'd like to take that challenge because it's very interesting as well. The Apache Spark of 3.0. We have used Python, we have used AWS, Azure Factory. So Spark side, and when you build up with a code ETL side, there's a backend work that you do. When you do much more in the cloud side, like Azure or AWS, GCP, that is much more in the front end side. The advantage of the backend side is like you can see throughout the part that how the ETL process is going and what it's gonna be. It's very interesting, and it's very like you can get a good experience over it. And the front end side, the cloud side, also you can get a good experience to see how with a what configuration, how it is going, even if it is connected. Because I believe most of you know by this time that Apache Spark was basically built up, I mean, mostly with the Databricks side. So Databricks is something that we're using the Databricks notebook, and we are transforming the data as per our need. So that part is connected again with the Azure, and we are just running up. So that is a mostly things that data engineering tools that we are using these days in industry. Other than that, I just built one logic I believe that can help you a lot. Even the people who are tech, who are from non-tech, who are from with a different background, I think this chart can help you, which helped me a lot, because this is a chart of data visualization too. So data visualization is something that is a very big and important part, because data visualization is the end line of your project. So data visualization is something, whatever you do, whatever the play or something you do with your data, end of the day the data visualization come as output, which will go to your deliverable managers or stakeholders or clients. So that is important to make it so high level design, uh, so that the understanding will be good. So here I have with my experience and everything, there is one like kind of chart, flow chart you can say, that I build up. So do you have more than one variable in the data? Then if yes, then the question, ask question every time. So asking questions will give you fact and the information as well. So if no, is it ordered? If it is ordered, then what kind of chart you should use? If it is no, if it is not ordered, then what kind of chart you should go for? If are they similar? If they're similar, then again yes or no. If they're so similar way, what kind of diagram you use? Because data visualization is looks very good and very easy when you're seeing the output, but when you're building it up, it's really very complex. And whenever the data is huge, so building up the data model is also a little bit tough. So I believe this can help you in the part like wherever you're working. The working professionals are already there who already have that experience. Those who are not, those who are new into this data science field and data engineering field, so this I believe can help them to understand and accomplish the work that they are doing. And it's also good for the practice. So that was a structure that I made. Next, again, yeah, the final thing comes that my career journey from TCS to Huawei. I believe since from the beginning, many of you have the questions inside your mind. So I build these things to and get some time to understand that. I mean, what I can talk about it. So yeah, so I joined as a WCDMA engineer in TCS, and I said like my the separate task was to build up in MATLAB data frame in testing the data. But those are WCDMA things and nothing related with the data engineering and data scientist. So and then when I got to know about this, I learned myself, and within 1 year I got this opportunity with Huawei. Now in Huawei I joined as a senior, I joined as a software engineer, but the team was like a big data team, and I told you like who are there in my team and was the inspiration. Apart from that, uh, how I did, like how I cop up with the work. So initially I started with the SQL and basically data reporting. So I got with the SQL database access with the SQL administrator, and then Excel analytics. So we get the data in CSV format, and manually we used to remove the null and cleans up the data basically. So and also the text mining and web mining. So we got that moment. So I've worked there for 1.5 years. Then I got transition inside Huawei itself with another team. They used to work mostly with MapReduce. So MapReduce, Yarn, these are the plugins separately that use inside the big data. So I got a chance to work with them. I got also chance to especially started my career with the front end side, so cloud side. So mostly there I have worked with Azure. Other than that, there is a separate internal cloud that I used to work in Azure. The job was mainly to get the data, extract the data, and clean the data, and nullify all the null values. I mean, separate it with all null values and separate it with few of the outliers that we have inside the data. I think with the course that you might know what is outlier, but if not, I'm just summarizing what is it. There are some if in the record, if someone's salary is 5 rupees and someone's salary is 1,000 rupees, so it's very difficult to compare the person who is getting 1,000 rupees and the person who is getting 5 rupees, right? There's a huge difference, and we can't also include them in the average because the average will go high. So we have to talk about plus minus 5 or 10, like at least 10 or 15 uh, who are getting the salary, and 1,000 is the outlier of that particular data set because we don't need that data either. So that data will be separated in some other database where it is getting matched with the salary. So this kind of job I have started, and then with the guidance of my colleagues, with the guidance of my, like, they're more or less like my friends than colleagues. So I have started working with the Spark 2.0. Spark 2.0 is our job was from the cloud uh, to in the same cluster. We are just running the building up the ETL job and running it. The job relates with the telecommunication based industry as Huawei is. So job relates with the lots data which is related to the signal and the telecommunication. And the journey was good. I have learned a lot, to be honest. I have learned many things, especially in the big data side. And also separately, I have started doing a journey to join a course who can give me a kind of boost up in my career as well as my data side. So I have got into a few of the organizations who are doing that time kind of course with a pig and hive, but mostly the courses were especially um, video. I mean, they're just recording video and they're just putting it inside the platform so that you can have that access and learn. But that is not a classroom training, because classroom training is something that I think we all are looking out and we all are looking for, because classroom is something that from our childhood we are quite used to it, that especially 90s kid, right? So uh, I just got into it, but though the learning curve was not very high, but I was learning parallelly, I was working, so kind of I got a grip. Meanwhile, I got the introduction to Insaid. The Insaid introduction was like kind of, I got a message one day in webinar that I do remember that because that was during the COVID time, the webinar to attend for the data science. So I joined that webinar, and finally I got some insights about this data science and everything. And also the main attraction was inside that, which attracted me a lot. It's like their code structure. So though I previously, it's not the first time that I had the experience. Previously I also had the experience with organizations, so I know, like, I was quite afraid that time to invest money to learn, because these courses are like video graphic, I believe, that time, and they're just giving the videos and all. But the attraction part was like I can have a domain expertise with the Insight course. So I was kind of interested in that, so I tried to gather my money, whatever I had. I took few of the loan from my, like, from my friends, because some conclusion I have to do and some decisions. So I believe, like, if I lost it again and come to the same point, there is nothing to lose, right? It will be a lesson. And if I can get something from this organization, it will be kind of achievement throughout my career. So there is nothing to lose if you're joining and investing money for your education, right? So with that very, like, I faint heartedly, I have joined, I have enrolled myself for the starting of the course as GCD, uh, global data science courses certification course. So I have joined that. And yeah, that's the first thing. Like my first mentor was Mr. Dipesh Wadhani, and the course structure was well designed. And when I joined, I also came to know there is a WhatsApp group as well for the students who were just joined and doing all things. So I have also joined that WhatsApp group to understand what is going on actually. And I will be remembering one more special thing. During my course, there are 3 or 4 people who did their MBA from non-tech background. They also joined. One people from, I think, were working with BARC or ISRO. She was an astrophysicist. She also joined. And one of the boy from Madhya Pradesh, he was +2 CBSC. He was being +2 CBSC, and he joined. So I came to know about this while the first class in the introduction side. First class was for GCD, and that also, like, it was very interesting, right? Like a different domain or different knowledge domain people are joining, and they're giving their inputs. So I joined the WhatsApp group, and I also joined the course. There are the few challenges, because I believe in every organization that we can have that. Okay, people started talking. Okay, is the first cause. Okay, some people don't understand it, and some people raise query for the academic side. Some people raise kind of things to uh, okay, I don't have a tech background, so how can I come up? They're very scared for first 1 week. But I have seen Mr. Dipesh Wadhani. I have seen him to every week, the people who are having the questions even after the class gets over. Also, I think 2 hours class, it was from 9 to 11, or 8 to 10 it was probably. So he was taking time to 20 minutes extra, and he was clearing all the doubts very patiently, in the sense that people are from non-tech background. Obviously, they asked one question, I remember: if you write print hello world, how it's getting printed? So I think people who are from the tech background, they might know, right? So this is very silly question, but this kind of questions also came. And Mr. Dipesh took it so nicely, so that the explanation, and that even a non-tech background will understand that how smoothly it is happening with the compiler thing, and everything he explained so well. And the most interesting part here it is, Mr. Dipesh Wadhani is not from the CS background, neither from a coding background. He is from a mechanical background, and he introduced himself at the beginning of the course. So yeah, this, I said, there are many instances that inspire you to do something that beyond of your limits and go for it, right? So this kind of instances that I have noted down and helped me a lot to go for it. Okay, so I have seen this kind of situations. And then while the courses happen, like every courses, when you are enrolling, there is a capstone project. I also got on capstone project, but capstone project was not a very big challenge for me, because I saw in Insaid that there is like enrollment is not enrollment, sorry, the dummy courses that used to happen, with your mentor. So he used to guide you for 2 or 3 projects, and then final projects you get. So if you've gone through well with those 2 projects, you will be quite sure that you can do by yourself with the third one. So this how it gets happen. And then I thought, like, it went so well, then I thought, why don't I upgrade my skills with GCD AI, and later maybe PGP, because PGP that time it was not introduced. So right now, and I also see there are few things that Insaid started giving. First thing is this live session, which I needed a lot, because other courses, as I said, gone through, which was giving a video captured, and so I can't ask questions, I can't ask doubt being a beginner, because though I was working as a professional, but still I'm a beginner. I was just learning very new things that was taught Instead. And to inspire that to be in touch, because like us professionals, I do understand the pain that every Saturday and Sunday, how it feels to join early in the morning. Even last week also I attended my class. So there are few people I have seen that people were like not joining. I have seen people who are telling, okay, baad mein dekh lenge, like kind of things and all. So for them, Insit brought one for us also. Insit brought one kind of new thing, that is hackathon, okay, or new quiz challenges, which was continuously brushing up your skills and whatever you are learning. And they have started giving you awards. So that I have also attended 2 or 3 hours. Few of them I failed, few of them I passed. And I have seen it's not my failure alone. A few of them also, like with my batchmates, they also failed. They tried twice or thrice because the questions were tricky sometimes, but it is not HOT questions like higher order thinkings. It was average if you just go through the course. So that's how I brush up. So when I sat for the interview, when I was doing the transition, I felt that how important it was to get this kind of instances while you are getting a course. So this helped me. So I just upskilled myself in GCD program, and in GCD I started with the machine learning. And the best part was that time Mr. Dipesh was not there. I think Mr. Dr. Darshan Ingle was there. So Dr. Darshan was pronounced, I think, professional, and also his teaching careers was so great. Probably you can visit the LinkedIn. So the first thing what I used to do is every mentor that Insaid was giving, I was just going to their Insaid profile, a LinkedIn profile, and see what is the professional that he is into in, and what was the expertise that he was doing actually. So every time I found out that how Insaid was planning was like the subject they're giving with the subject matter expert, they're just providing the exact expertise that the person is having with that subject to teach us. So which I think helped me a lot about this. And there is a myth inside the Insaid in a WhatsApp group. Even I do have a WhatsApp group since 2 years back. Still it is there. It's like I have joined in July 2020. That is kind of Suchit. So Suchit's class, I think no one missed. Even Suchit gives one conference as well. I think Suchit is a chief, right? Like he's one of the founders, and he's, I think, right now chief data scientist in, like, he's managing the education and whole academics thing in SET. So his classes were awesome. And the first thing that after joining Insaid I got is like my classes yet to be start on 2020 July, but 15 days or 1 month back I got a call from the Insaid academics that my account has been registered and created and I can access my account. So when I opened that account, I found two things. One is starter kit like Python and statistics. So being a beginner, I mean, in the first class, most of the guys or girls, they have gone through this. I have also gone through few, but I couldn't complete the starter kit. But later I didn't know that it's gonna help me a lot while sitting for the interview, because those starter kits, especially in Python, it helped me a lot in the questionnaires during the interviews. They have asked lots of similar questions which was taught as a basic ideology in the Python in the starter kit. Those are the very basic questions asked, because very big companies like Mang and Fang, they basically ask you a very basic questions, because you might think, okay, they might ask complex questions because they're so high in like level wise and all. But the trick was, once you prepare so well, the basic questions can trick you. That also tricked me. I mean, I can't confess much, but that also tricked me as well. So that was a thing, and my courses were going good. GCDI went well, completing that capstone project. Meanwhile, there is something that is a kind of surprise thing was carried forward by Insaid. It's like every year they used to held up this budding data science leader award. So all the professionals and all the students from Insaid, including previous batches, old batches, they used to attend this. It is a big kind of examination with lots of things that you have to do. You have to attend the quiz, you have to attend the projects, you have to give your interview shots, like you have to be professional, like grooming side, and give your insights that how you felt, what are the transition that you made, including everything that used to be judged by Insaid the mentors and the top level people who are just directing all these academics. And then finally they're getting top 5, top 3 kind of data leaders they used to award every year. So it was one of my dream initially to join, because it was a great thing and the award looks great. So I also tried, I failed, though it was not a kind of depressing, but I got kind of inspiration that, okay, I should do better, much better for next time like that. And since GCDI, and my work is also going okay, Huawei, but I never thought to do a transition. But when I get into GCDI courses, I got a feel like after 5 years of working here, I thought it's a time that I can do a transition to see better opportunities in a different domain, because though it will be a very challenging, but I believe it can help me to grow further. So I like to take challenges, because challenges are something, it's like a front fall. So once you are stuck with somewhere while you are walking, you'll never fall back, right? You, if you get fall also, that fall will be front, so you'll at least get some space to path that you have crossed, so that is pushing you towards the success. So that's what I believed is like my philosophy. And I got a transition for Philips, but the Philips transition was not so well. For the Philips transition, I have sat for around 20 to 25 interviews, and I was very depressed. To be honest, I was depressed like hell. And the special part of the Insaid is like, once you are like enrolled for this postgraduate course like PGP diploma, like I am right now a PGP student, so you get a one-on-one career grooming session. That one-on-one career grooming session you can get even in any of the organizations, because before Insaid I have joined one more organizations. But that career grooming session is basically, they asked your resume, they just fabricated it, and they just send it to different partners. Sometimes they don't send also, they send you mail and ask you to apply for it. But this career grooming session was different what I felt in Insight, because after Insight I didn't go anywhere, so I don't know what other organizations were doing. But for me it was one-on-one session was taken by Manjusha Jaggi. But Manjusha was not alone. I think Suchit was also there. Sometimes one of the senior faculties are also there to know that what I was doing, where am I, and what I have to do to excel it. So in the first session one-on-one, I was, as I said, I was very shy. I couldn't open up much. I said, okay, I was trying to do and all, but it was very inspiring. That there was kind of inspiring talk they gave. And I remember there was a Suchit. So Suchit asked me that what forward my resume and what I am doing, just let me know and all this. So I forwarded my resume to Inside Academics and all came to know. And in the second session they have scheduled a second session for it. I mean, there are continuous sessions for one-on-one for your career grooming instead. In the second session I have just opened up like whatever I did, because just before the session I had an interview and it went well, but there should be one interview result should come out and they didn't call me. So I was very much depressed. And I told Manjusha and Suchit that okay, I did like this, but I don't know why I'm not getting calls, because my interviews are not like it's not going bad, but it was going well, so well that I should get a call, and people are also saying you'll get a call, but after that I'm not getting the calls. Then he told me that okay, are you able to answer all the questionnaires? I also told Suchit that okay, I was failing. So he gave me one suggestion that in each and every interview, wherever you are like applying for, attend their interviews as many as you can, write down their questions, and after the interview, just trying to find out the answers and write it down the same place, maybe in Excel sheet, which can help you to build a record. And before every interview, just go to the summary of all the interviews that you have done, what are the questions and what are the answers. You'll surely get common questions, and it's the same thing that we do in our school days, right? But I was not maintaining that, though it was my 26th interview, and 26th interview was a Philips, and I did same. I would not say I got the similar questions, but I got uh, almost that kind of questions. I didn't get exact those questions, kind of questions, and which helped me to go for further, because Philips it went 5 rounds. There were two technicals. So the first round went well. Second round was more or less basically with a part whatever we have learned in Insight, like including SQL, Python, and a very basic data science questions, like few of the algorithms, few of the implementations, and other than that, it was coding. Again, coding. So coding is something that I say like every time, that coding is something none of the organization will teach you. In my career, I have never seen any of the organization is teaching you the exact coding. For that, they are putting a separate courses, but they are not teaching with this big data engineering. But coding is something that you have to learn. That is something that you have to learn by yourself, and it's not very big challenge. There are plenty of platforms, online platforms. One of the platforms I can say, it's Ripple, REPAL, Ripple it, REPLIT. Ripple it is an online platform. You can free of cost. You can do whatever the programming language that you have. You can practice it over there. So they're giving you IDE for it, so you can practice it. That is the one part, because when you're opting for data engineering, until or unless it is a front end, because you might not know until the JD comes to you. You might not know what is this is a front end job or this is a back end job. If this is a front end, there is a less coding questions, but if it is a back end side, the coding session or coding interview is must. And coding interviews are not like a very hefty questions that they're asking. They're asking very small questions. They're asking SQL questions with analytical functions, which gives a lag and lead, or the functions. How can I find the second highest salary, fifth highest salary? I think that quite makes sense, right? When you're joining an industry, they will not ask you to get a database, some columns, and extract it from a database. Obviously not. They will be asking us little bit tricky questions, but these are totally, I mean, everything is available freely in internet. So I have prepared in that way, and with that amalgamation I could crack it. And obviously that achievement was not my alone. As I said, that achievement and the strategy was guided by Insaid. So I am also pursuing Insaid courses and also other courses with my interest from Udemy and YouTube. But end of the day, the guidance part, which I cannot do alone. Whatever, how much I have learned, how much I can do, the guidance also only comes from the people who are already in that level, in that position. So that I received from Insaid very much. I think not only me, with in the same batch, lots many people. One of the people, I think you might know, he comes to the prospect or brochure of the Insaid. He's Ankit. So Ankit joined in Amazon, and right now I'm working in Bengaluru. So Amazon's and Boeing office is almost back to back, I mean beside. So Ankit is younger than me, and he got into Amazon. I think his hard work paid off. He worked also hard, very much. So but that's the same thing, he was also guided by Insaid. So that guidance matters, and that guidance I got from Insaid. I After that, I didn't have to go to another organizations, because like Insaid was enough for me. But I don't know what are the other organizations did. But before Insaid, the organizations I joined, I didn't receive all this. So that is beneficial for me. Something else can be beneficial for you, maybe YouTube videos, maybe something. The next thing, after this transition, Philips to Boeing, it made me so easy to do, because I followed the same mantra. That success mantra was from Insaid. And I think I have worked with Philips for around 7 months. In Philips, now the question might come to your point that, okay, when I joined a very renowned and famous organization in Philips, then why you left, and what is the thing that you're looking out for? So it was just the experience that I got from Philips. So Philips, I joined as a front end only, as a senior data engineer, and their work mostly with Azure. So we do everything with Azure side and the front end side, but my interest was always to join the backend. So where I was getting it from the Boeing, as I said, the part that I used to do, the development of the ETL, that gives you the in and as, like from base to the target side, how it is going and what you have to do, how the data is processing. You can have that knowledge. So yeah, so this success is not only mine, it's just the Insaid, but also it also goes with the contribution from the colleagues that I have. The colleagues, they have helped me a lot in my journey as a beginner, because every organizations you join, you might have a 8 years or 9 years experience. You'll join there as a beginner. So that helped me a lot, and right now I believe I'm in a good position, and I am looking forward to do my masters, because this course is a PGP, is a postgraduate program, kind of diploma. So I'm looking forward to do my masters, and I think Boeing is having that opportunity to learn together program, so they have it. So I'm just looking forward to do a master's research background in a computational data science, and that's how. So that success comes with this hard work as well, but also you might have an interest. So if something you don't have a passion or interest, after a certain time or a long time, you'll feel like it is boring because you never had that choice. You just forced yourself to go for it. So I believe first, if you're really inspired and you're really going forward for it, maybe it does not matter to be kind of shy. It may be for money, the highest salary package they're offering. It may be for the just for learning. You should go for it. So I just shared the scope of the data engineering. So yeah, that's all
Saurav,
about my
sorry.
journey. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to cut you down. We have surpassed the time already.
Yeah,
But
sorry.
hearing about the journey, it was so motivating, and I think people here in the webinar would totally agree with me on this. Can I get a quick yes or no in the chat window? So really great to see such words coming out, Saurav. And as you have already mentioned, it's 80% of your efforts are actually brought us that results. We might have just 20% contribution out there. It's the hard work. It's the smart and hard work that you did in combination of that, which brought us these results out there. Yeah. So again, thanks for your words, Saurav. I think we have already surpassed the time. The folks
Yeah.
asking the questions about the session time, don't worry, the session will start. The next session, the 11 a.m. session, will start at 11:30. So we have covered that for you. Don't worry about that. So now, Saurabh, I think I'll just pick up a few questions since we have already surpassed the time. So few questions that I can think many people out here might actually relate with. Yeah.
Okay.
So okay, you want to say something, Saurabh?
No, I think yeah, whatever I need to say, I just don't go for the slide. I just whatever I plan to talk about, I just told. It's
Okay.
that.
Okay. So there is one student, Vinayshri Kalburgi, whose question is pretty good, and I think this might be
Okay.
answered by many people out here because Vinayshri, this is the session, this is the first session of Vinayshri, okay, and she has enrolled for the GCD AI program. So she
Okay.
wants to understand what is the best time during this journey to actually start applying for jobs and start reaching out to HRs and all and build that network required.
Okay, that's a very big, I mean, very good question. And as she's from GCDI, so I can see myself into her that what she was looking for, that I was looking for 1 year back. Yeah. So yeah. Good name again.
Vinayshri.
Vinayasri. Okay, so Vinayasri, first of all, GCDAI is a package of course that you're gonna have from Insaid. Even I too gone through the same thing. But other than that, few of the added things that also industry needs. One thing is, as I said, that uh, coding experience. So there are two kinds of jobs available right now in the market in industry. One is a front end side, one is a back end side. Though the designation says data engineering, data scientist, or AI engineer or ML engineer, but seeing the job description first, you have to see and observe it. And seeing that job description, you have to understand what it needs. Okay. And see yourself that are you prepared for it not. For example, I did the same. Even till date, I got a lots of jobs coming to and the calls and all. But you have to first see the JD and see the company company background. That are you really want to join that company or not? If not, the first filter should be comes. If not, then just leave that thing and you say not interested. Second thing, that company is good and you saw that JD. And the second thing, you see all the skill set you might not have, and 80% chances that you might not have. That's for sure. So what you have to do, you just start the conversation. And for once you job for taking one example in Mang or Fang companies like Amazon, you applied, you got an opportunity, you got a call from Amazon. The HR calls you and understand your job's background, and you said, okay, I have this, I am also parallelly studying for it and all, I have the skill sets. What they gonna do, they're gonna forward it for the technical interview or telephonic interview for you. They're gonna conduct it. So you have got an idea in JD that what are the skill sets that you need. So in that timestamp, you get an idea for the preparation. Okay. For best websites are Geeks for Geeks and other in YouTube also, Code Basics. There are very good with a very less time. You can understand very complex concepts. They're teaching so well. So you prepared for it as best as you can, I would say, and then join that interview. In the interview, there are two things might happen. One, you could not crack it. One, you can crack it. If you can crack it, that is good. If you cannot, just write down the questions, and it's absolutely fine for not losing it. You get a 6 months time. Again, you can apply for that same position, if not for other position in the same company. So there are 6 to 3 months that where you can have that. So now you understood after sitting for the interview that okay, I have to prepare in this way, because without sitting for the interview you can't predict that you can crack it or not. As I said, I have attended before Phillips 25 to 20, yeah, 25, 26 was my Phillips. So I've attended, still I couldn't learn. So see, there is, so learning came with the guidance only. So that's how I learned. But I can just suggest you, just there is no good time or bad time to apply for the company. You can apply, you can sit for the interview, get the experience, and that's how you grow. You just note it down. You just find out the answers with the different companies you sit for. You find out the answers. It's not that every time you have to sit for Fang or Mang companies. Join that, and then with that experience you can, I think, crack in a very less time, instead of not sitting for the interview and just applying. Okay. Hello.
Okay, sorry, I think I was not able to unmute. First of all, very well explained, Saurav. I can see tons and tons of questions flowing in the chat window as well as in the Q&A session. And apologies, I won't be able to pick up every question possible. So for that, what we'll do is I'll request all of you to email these questions to us through academics. Okay, we'll forward all these questions to Saurav, and Saurav will actually help us with the answers to the same, and we'll again forward that to you. Yeah. So that is something which we'll do. Secondly, I have just pasted a feedback form link there in the chat window. Request everyone to put it up over there. And next is I'll pick up a generic question that might be there with many people out there. That's by Dipti. So what Dipti is asking is, how difficult is it for a non-technical person to get in a job in data science? Because you also belong from the same background, sort of, right? So how difficult it was for you, and what were the steps that you took? And please don't stretch the answer a bit. A brief answer to that theme
Okay.
will be.
So yeah, non-tech background or tech background, I believe, like difficult in the sense, end of the day, your certification or your academic background doesn't matter. It matters that in interview, the basic idea is they're giving you the problems which they are facing in industry. Are you able to solve or not? So if you have that skills to able to solve it, you're in. That's the level of the difficulty. Okay. So I would always suggest, like in the first question, as I mentioned, that you sit for the interview and get the experience. Then only you will understand what are the difficulties that industries in analytics they're facing these days, and then only you can prepare yourself. It's not very hard. Even in 26th job interview, I cracked it, right? So it's not very hard. You just have to understand what are the difficulties right now. For that, you can't just sit and Google it. You cannot get it until or unless you give the interview. So through interview, and industry can comes to you to make you understand, okay, this is the difficulty, maybe in a metamorphic way or maybe in some other way, and you have to solve it. You have to answer that questions. So until or unless if you sit for it, you will not know. Okay. And because this is just the beginning, this is not a long time that is prolonged for this analytical part. Okay. So it's not very difficult, but yes, you have to manage answers first, and then if not, don't get disheartened. You just trying to find out that that is a difficulty and how can strategically you can observe it. Because this same industry, you don't know, might be in aeronautics is facing some issue which might be similar to the health tech. Both are in business side, right? Might be similar. So once you got to understand, okay, this is the solution and this is the thing that I have to do, then the next interview will be ease, like just a piece of cake for you. So yeah.
Okay, that's great to hear. So I think there is a question about your background. So that's related to the industry that you are working, that is aerospace. So can you just quickly talk about how extensively AI is being used in the aerospace industry right now? And this, I would say, it's the last question that we'll pick up, and then we'll wrap up the session for today. Yeah.
Okay.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. So in aerospace industry, actually, as per the policy, I cannot say the details, but in aerospace industry, that AI is getting to be intended to implement as a like the mainly the work is with the planes, missiles, rockets, and all. So basically, that Boeing, they're the manufacturing companies. What they do to do it. So there are plenty of things that Boeing is doing. There are plenty of things that to be, for example, to make such websites make more instead of human effort is, instead of putting someone to answer for all the questions what customer was asking for, instead of that we can put something more intelligently, so that the thing what the thing was that it can come to a great suggestion for the client. Okay, so for that what we need a prior experience. That's what we say. As a human, we are doing we are taking the experience and we are answering the questions, right? Same way, we are just making that machine so intelligent that instead of asking things by client, or just putting the number, or just putting for the that the things that they need to for the manufacturing side and all, they can just get the suggestion from the system itself. Okay, this should be our latest update, and this should be the old thing that we are doing, which should fit you well, old thing or new thing. That is totally from the system generated intelligence. So that's what currently that Boeing is doing. But for that, for the prior experience, how we have to access their database. Boeing's, not only Boeing, every industry, you have to access their database to make something bigger, because database is something that experience of the machine. Our database inside our head, that experience that we are getting for the machine itself, is a database that the industry is having. So you have to access it and make it quicker and a very suggestive way and app for the client, and so that the human effort and the time that it is getting taking, because once a person is making some query, generally in with a human effort, it has to go in different levels, maybe with managerial, maybe with engineering levels, maybe with the different levels that. But instead of that, if we can do it inside the machine, so what's harm in it? And that's how the growth is coming, right? So that's a part that we are doing,
Okay.
right?
Okay, great, great. Yeah. Okay, cool. So thanks again, Saurav. Let's wrap it up. It's already 11:15 right now.
Yeah.
It's time for the 11
Yeah,
a.m.
next session. Yeah,
session.
I
That's
understand.
on to 11:30. They need to join in.
Yeah.
So first of all, again, a very big thanks to you to help all the people here understand what should be the roadmap that needs to be followed and what efforts needs to be put up from an individual side to actually excel in this field of data science and AI. Yeah. So thank you everyone. So the 11:30, this session I'm just mentioning for the people who have 11 session at 11. So the folks who had all sessions scheduled at 11 a.m., that session has been postponed to 11:30. No other session has been scheduled. Yeah. So okay, thanks Saurav. Thanks for your time and words, and all the attendees. I hope you guys had a great experience here. So thanks for joining in, everyone. We'll wrap it up here. You'll get the recording in Insaid Thursdays. You can always go ahead and have a look at it. Yeah. Thank you, Saurav. And I think
Thanks to you.
things
Thanks to
are
everyone. Yeah, they
yeah.
join, and
Thank
very
you.
patiently they like I bothered them. So
Yeah, yeah,
very
yeah.
patiently